the sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Double teams was the major point. Those double teams help Adam and KJ get open. They get those one-on-one battles when I'm getting double, triple teams. So, whenever the whole line is getting that man-to-man, we're all up for grabs. He can throw the ball to each one of us, and we always feel confident in our game to get open. And Coach Keenan, our coach, definitely stressed that on us to always be open and give Kirk an easier throw.
Justin Jefferson talking after the Vikings win against the Saints, in which he had a great game. Basically, I think he was singled a lot against Saints' outstanding Pro Bowl cornerback Marshawn Lattimore on Sunday, but Jefferson played great. It is Mackey and Judd. I am Judd. He is Declan. Mackey out today and probably Tuesday, taking care of some personal business with his family. And so hopefully back, if nothing else, by Wednesday. But Declan, you know what this is?
Statements.
The Statements Monday.
I love Statements.
The Statements Monday, and it's going to revolve around the game that we all watched from London Sunday morning. Vikings and Saints. The Vikings are 3-1. The Vikings could definitely be playing better. That being said, they're 3-1. So, start us off. What is your first statement off that tilt?
My first statement after the Vikings are now 3-1 on the season is that's more like it. When it comes to Justin Jefferson, that is more like it. So, a 10-catch performance, 147 yards. I know he didn't find the end zone, but hauled in the 41-yard grab that really put the nail in the coffin to get the Vikings a win. 13 targets, 147 yards, 14 yards per catch after being held in check the last few weeks. Finally wakes back up and has a big performance, and that's the type of performance you need from Justin Jefferson. On the season, he is still projected here to have 119 grabs, 1,600 receiving yards, 9 touchdowns. And this is not a nitpick. It still feels like that could be bigger. It still feels like there could be more to that. And if you would have told me a wide receiver is going to have 119 catches, 1,600 yards, and close to 10 touchdowns by the end of the season, I would take that every time. And yet it still feels like there is more to give there in the yards. There's more to give there in the receptions. Kirk targeted him. Again, really happy that he targeted him 13 times and he hauled in the big grab. But that's more like it. That's what you need this Vikings offense to have. It has to funnel through the wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, and then everything else is secondary. So that is more like it.
First of all, let me applaud the Saints because I love it when you have a big-time Pro Bowl corner who says, give me Jefferson. Give me Jefferson. Now, Jefferson had a very good game, but that was fun to watch. And yes, the 39-yard reception was absolutely great. Great throw by Kirk. You know what my stance, to your point, would be? And I think the Vikings started to figure this out really pretty well in the Detroit game, and then certainly yesterday, is if they're going to try and take Jefferson away, you've got to make him pay. Thielen can do that. KJ Osborne, I still think can. Now he is not, and he is, clearly the third guy. KJ Osborne, though, has not done much because his opportunities have certainly been limited this season. But all of that being said, I think one of the things that's a work in progress that's starting to take some shape, Dex, is how the ball is going to be distributed, depending on how Jefferson is being covered. And when I say things like Jefferson is open even when you think he's not, I'm talking about what KOC was able to do yesterday as well, which is get him in a position to make plays and catches. But I do think as far as the distribution of the ball from Kirk goes, I think we are now starting to see how this might take shape. And this is where having 3 outstanding to very good receivers is huge. This is why I am still fairly bullish on the offense. Defense, I'm concerned about. The offense, I'm bullish. I think that they are going to be, I think they're going to be fine, and I think the passing game has way more to go. And really, it's going to come down to how much can O'Connell and Kirk scheme together, and how much can O'Connell consistently get Kirk to do what he wants. And is O'Connell going to get to a point, too, Dex, where he's going to draw a line because he realizes, because I think he's smart enough to do this, that there is probably a point where you're overstepping your bounds with Kirk and you just don't trust him enough. So it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. In fact, you know what? That leads me to my next statement. Off of your point. My next statement is this. I am concerned. I am concerned. This is not about the defense yet. I'm concerned that Dalvin Cook might be close to being cooked. As far as what we knew.
He stood there.
As far as what we knew. So he's still a contributing player. And I think he's a very, I think he certainly brings things. Guy can pick up a block for sure.
Yeah.
He can still run. I mean, but, you know, and we talked about this on Vent Line on Sunday. And I don't know if you agreed with me or not, but, you know, Dalvin had that special gear, and I don't think it was as high of gear, but it was probably fairly close to what Adrian Peterson had for all those years, right? Foot in the ground and you're gone. You know, 75 yards, 80 yards. I don't see that gear now, and I'm not surprised. He's aging. For his position, wear and tear wise, and with how much the dude has been hurt, Dex, it's a lot to take on. I don't know. I still think he has first through, let's say, third, possibly fourth gear. But, you know, he used to have that fifth gear. Bang, gone. I don't see it. And I'm afraid that it's not a short-term, it'll come in week, 7 or 8. I'm fearful that it's wear and tear, and the guy's been hurt a lot.
So far this season, Dalvin Cook has 72 touches, 63 rushing attempts. He has 9 receptions. Longest play for Dalvin Cook in those 72 touches is 16 yards.
Yeah.
16 yards.
Yeah.
He's been fine, 4.4 yards per carry. You know, he's averaging about 70 yards per game, which is below his career average, but you would still take that in today's NFL. But there is an explosive gear that is missing there. Now he's missed, he's due to miss about 2 to 3 games a season. And I'm a little surprised he progressed so impressively that he was able to play and still was fine yesterday against the Saints. But if you're going to pay a running back that much money, you need him to be explosive. And this is the cautionary tale, probably, of why you don't pay running backs. The Packers are using Aaron Jones a little bit more now, but they paid Aaron Jones. Should they have paid Aaron Jones all that money? Maybe not.
I wouldn't pay a running back.
So, yeah, you need more explosive plays from Dalvin Cook. You absolutely do.
And I told you guys this. I believe I told you after week 1, the win over the Packers, that gear was not there. And in week 1, that gear should be there. Like, that's week 1. You're healthy. You're as healthy as you are going to be. And, yeah, I just watch it. And there is that very special thing that a few guys have for a brief time where it's like, they're here, they're gone. I don't see they're gone portion. So
yeah, still projected for 1,100 yards in the season if he kept up this pace, which again is fine. That's a pretty good season, especially for running back now and nowadays. But yeah, there's an explosive play that's missing.
He's paid too much to be fine.
Correct. I'll give you an offensive nitpick here as well. Let's put the Irv Smith hype to bed. But we've been waiting, and we have been waiting and waiting, and we've been projecting and predicting that this is the year of Irv Smith. He's just a guy. Irv Smith is just a guy.
He's a jag? Just a guy?
He's just a guy.
He's a jag.
He is just a guy. Okay, he had a very impressive rookie season, a really good college career. Battled some injuries his second year, obviously missed all of last season with the meniscus injury. And hey, those injuries may have caught up to him, and that maybe limited what we thought he could be. Irv Smith is just a dude, man. He is not a game-changing tight end. He's not a game-changing player. He's good for 3 to 4 catches, maybe 35 yards, maybe gets you some separation and can haul in a red zone touchdown here and there. But let's put the Irv Smith hype to bed. He's just a guy in this offense. He's just a guy most likely in any offense. You're probably going to move on from him in the offseason, and you won't miss a wink of sleep. He's just a guy. He can help out this Vikings offense. We're waiting for the Vikings offense to get to the next gear because it's still been a little bit of lackluster through the first 4 games, despite them being a 3-1 football team. But the Irv Smith hype, there's no hype. We're seeing who Irv Smith is. He is just a guy in this offense. I'm sorry, Judd.
Do you remember how long I've talked him up for.
He's on your Mount Rushmore of Judd projections of guys you thought were going to be very, very special players.
And here's the sad thing. I think you're exactly right.
You don't say that to me much often either.
No, I don't.
No, you know.
I don't. And because I don't think it a lot. But in this case, I think it. I think you're exactly right. All right. My next statement is actually brought to you by my friends at Spiral Light Candles. Do you know
the Purple
why?
Positivity!
Purple Positivity Candle in play, ladies and gentlemen. 3-1. You don't tell me this team is not playing well. I don't want to hear it. You know what I do want to hear? That 4 games in, the Vikings have won 3 games, and that is a reason to go to spirallightcandles.com. And first of all, look around, because what you're going to find is candles that are absolutely awesome. Aroma is great. They're a great gift for birthdays and anniversaries. You think of a special day. If you have somebody in your life that loves candles, I'm going to tell you right now, Spiral Light Candles is the place to go. But if you are a fan of the purple and you right now are like, they're 3-1, this is great. But you know what? These games, Declan, nail biters. And so on game day, it's tough. I'm uptight. I'm pacing around. I don't know what to do.
Light the candle, baby.
I'm nervous.
Light it up.
Purple Positivity Candle will help you. Help you have a clarity. Help you relax. Help you enjoy another purple win. SpiralLightCandles.com.
I love it.
All right. My next statement is this. I'm going to go with a positive here.
Okay.
My statement is, that was textbook. What am I talking about?
Well, wait, what are you talking
I am talking about the opening drive,
about?
which was probably scripted, okay?
Yep.
But that opening drive in London against the Saints, 13 plays, 75 yards, consumed 6 minutes, 48 seconds. Cousins, 7 of 9.
Cousins.
67 yards. And it ended with a short pass to Madison that he then turned into an impressive 15-yard touchdown run.
Yep.
And by the way, I think he should probably play more. That was textbook, though. And look, we can certainly say, yeah, and why didn't they do that more? And I don't disagree with you. It would be nice. But I thought that drive showed sort of a snippet of what this can be. Time consuming. Again, Kirk, 7 of 9, really well orchestrated, really taking control. And so I watched that drive and I thought, and a year ago it frustrated me because that offense should have been far more established. And it's like the scripted plays were all you had. In this case, I watched that and say, okay, this is part of what O'Connell's long-term vision for what this offense can do. It was textbook. I really liked it.
I love it. Yeah, you know, I think you don't want to fall into the trap of the scripted plays, and that's what we saw from the Vikings last year, and then they hit adversity, and, you know, I know Phil talked about that on Purple Daily, which you can also find, that, yeah, things are going to get murky sometimes. You know, the scripted play will be great, and then after that, how do you rebound? Might be a little bit ugly. There could be a 3-and-out here and there, but at the end of the day, you got to be impressive with that. They come out with a game plan and they execute it right away. Set the tone. Set the tone with a nice offensive
6:48 too.
Drive. Yeah,
little time of possession advantage right there.
I dig it. All right, my next statement here.
Oh, you double
like
Batmaning yourself.
Double Batman. I'm more of a Nightwing guy. I've told you about this. I liked more Nightwing than I did the other Batman and Robins.
I'm fine with that.
Judd does not want to know anything about that.
There's
new Black Panther trailer. I could go on a whole nerd.
I don't.
A segment right here, but I won't.
I can't.
My statement is I love Za'Darius Smith. So Za'Darius Smith with a limited amount of snaps yesterday, just 24 snaps. That was just 40% of the defensive snaps that he played in yesterday. But despite playing in a limited role, still a sack, still a couple quarterback hits, a couple more pressures through 4 games. Za'Darius Smith already has up to 7 pressures on the season. He's looking more and more like he was when he was the All-Pro with the Green Bay Packers, a guy who had double-digit sacks and was terrorizing Kirk Cousins for years in Green Bay, before that obviously being in Baltimore. Za'Darius Smith, even in a limited role, was causing havoc on the defensive line and making a quarterback's life hell. I wanted Andy Dalton's life to be more hellish yesterday.
Yes, you did.
But you know what? Even in limited snaps, Za'Darius Smith stepped up. He has been one of the best bargain contracts. It was a nice little risky play for the Vikings to do. They brought him in last second after a weird failed physical thing, and there's questions about a back. There's two injuries that always scare me the most, Judd Zolgad. It's head and back. And back.
Absolutely. Backs are terrible.
That's terrifying. But so far, he's 30 years old, and when he's been on the field, even yesterday on limited snaps, he is finding ways to terrorize quarterbacks on the season so far. 3 sacks, 9 tackles, 5 quarterback hits, 6 tackles for a loss. He's doing everything you wanted him to do.
24 snaps, so yeah.
Yeah, he's been great. He's been great. So I love Za'Darius Smith. It's been a great signing for the Vikings defense.
Okay, that's a great point, and that leads me to my next statement. Go ahead. I need more. From, if it's Batman and Robin, you take your pick. If it's the dynamic duo, Danielle Hunter, okay?
Okay.
We talked about this on Purple Daily as well, and I understand, at least through the Lions game, he graded out well. And so I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's not a bad player. But I don't remember a stretch of games where, this guy, pre-injury, was dynamic. And keep in mind, too, so when he came back off the neck problem, the neck surgery that cost him 2020 before he got hurt in 21.
Just a tweak.
Just a tweak. Yeah, just a tweak.
Wrong.
He had, through like 6 or 7 games, he had like 5 or 6 sacks, right? Mm-hmm. Last year. I need to hear his name more. I need to see him more. He made the great tackle when Dalton tried to score, I think, inside the 5-yard line on Sunday. Danielle made a great play to stop him. I think that was the only time that I really saw 99 stand out that entire game. It's 2 consecutive games now in which, just to be clear again, I'm not saying he's playing poorly. I'm saying I'm not hearing his name. I'm not noticing him. And I don't know if this is injury. I don't know if this is schematics and he's not being used correctly. So I'm not even assessing blame here to him. I'm just saying, when you have a player who is potentially this good, Declan, and to your point, Smith putting up some statistics.
Yeah.
Like I am, you're
noticing him.
It feels like you are noticing Za'Darius Smith more than Danielle Hunter at this point.
Yeah.
I need for Ed Donatel to find a way for this defense to feature Danielle Hunter more. It feels like he is far too often, for the talent he possesses, MIA.
I agree. You thought those were going to be your bread and butter. That was your double dragon, another nerdy reference for you there. That could potentially be the bread and butter of the defense that gets after the quarterback. Za'Darius Smith has lived to his end. Danielle Hunter hasn't been, a detriment. It's just there seems like there's so much more to his game.
There is.
We were talking on Purple Daily that there's so much more to this offense. And in fact, we still see that this offense could even be a sleeping dragon, if you will. The defense, for the most part, we know who the defense as a whole is. But there's clearly a gap with Danielle Hunter that there is. Where is the pass rusher that was one of the best in the league, basically, before the tweak and before the neck injury from 2 years ago?
And this might come down to he's not being used correctly. It might come down to it's going to take him time to actually define a role. But I'm just saying this is the type of player that I am shocked that 4 games in, we have not heard his name called more.
Yeah, it's strange. Mm-hmm. It's strange. All right, I'll give you another statement here. My statement is, seriously, guy, Kris Boyd. So Kris Boyd did make a very nice play in special teams yesterday, helping force, I believe, that fumble.
And recovered it. But
Kris Boyd took to Twitter on Sunday evening and said, "We have some ungrateful fans.
Yeah.
I don't be on the internet looking for this bleep, but we won, and some were still complaining. We got a big W. We're 3-1.
Yeah.
STFU. Please find another team if you're not satisfied, or STF."
Not smart.
Okay. Kris, buddy, you made a good play on special teams. You are down the depth chart of the pecking order of what you can tell Vikings fans. If Justin Jefferson wants to come out here and be the one to say, "Hey, let's wake up a little bit here. Like, we're 3-1. Let's be thankful," that holds more merit. Kris Boyd, you're a roster fringe guy. Yep. Nice play against the special teams. Good for you, dude. Stay off the Twitter machine. Stay off the tweets. Stay off complaining about fans right now. And the best advice my father ever gave myself, you worry about you. Don't worry about anyone else. Kris Boyd, you worry about you right here, man. Don't be worried about Vikings fans. Don't be worried about going out there and putting people on blast for it. You worry about you, Kris Boyd. There's no need for you to go on Twitter and then flame fans when it's Kris Boyd. You know, I just don't understand a guy like that going out there to flame out Vikings fans.
Yeah. First of all, did you not learn from Bashaud Breeland last year?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you have, and I would imagine, I would hope that this is going to get him a talking to. Kris Boyd is very, very flamboyant, to your point, for a guy who is a depth guy.
Yeah.
You know, if Patrick Peterson wants to frame this up in a way of saying, hey, 3-1's not bad, folks. No STFU, but hey, fans. I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson, again. I'd be, okay. Thielen. Okay. Yeah. But Kris Boyd. And this is where Kris Boyd drives me crazy. He doesn't, and you see this, he doesn't, he can be a valuable roster guy. But yeah, when you're taking the lead, that indicates you think you're really good. And unless you're really good, don't tell people, and I retweeted that, and I got some great responses of, Kris, you're fairly new here. We've lived with this crap for a while. So yeah, I don't think that you're in a place, especially how he went about it. Perhaps if he had said something about, hey, we are 3-1, but yeah, that note should rub Kevin O'Connell the wrong way. It's just welcoming outside noise that you don't need, right?
Yeah.
No. You just don't need that. So I tend to agree with you completely. All right, my next statement. I'm concerned.
Again?
I'm concerned again. Part 2. This time, again, about a player, though. It's not about, the team. Lewis Cine, first-round draft pick. Leg, ankle, potentially, lots of things. I mean, somebody tweeted, so the crew didn't show that again, which is fine. They should not. You never need to see a guy's leg snap, okay?
Yeah, I agree, man.
Somebody tweeted it out, and I saw it from afar, and it was sort of grainy, so I couldn't tell exactly. But his leg bent the wrong way completely and looked like it buckled in doing so. It was bad. It's really bad. He's not just done for the year. I guess I question, with the potential recovery with what this could be, if he's back at some point next year. It's fair to say this, too. When your leg does that, are you ever back to being who you were? There's just, and I'm...
E.J. Henderson.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope, and Cine's a young man, and I hope he's absolutely fine. But I'd be lying to say after seeing that, and when you have to be taken in London for surgery and stay there, I mean, they are worried. That's not just, it's a little... So I am concerned about the Vikings' first-round pick and his future based off that. Mm-hmm. I know it had been a slow start, but, we talked about this a bunch. We were all definitely still hopeful that he could play at some point. Well, he's not going to now. And when you see that, it's not Teddy probably, Dex, but it's far too close. Yeah,
it's unfortunate. That's such a freak injury. And, ACL tears happen. This is this is next level type of injury. And a guy who is fighting to get on the field and trying to make his mark on special teams. And, we've kind of been wondering, where has Lewis Cine been? He was this great player at Georgia. Why hasn't it been able to translate on the field? Really, Josh Metellus, and good for Josh Metellus being one of the best graded players, but really he can't beat out Josh Metellus and figure out ways to get on the field. And it's unfortunate. I hope the guy's going to be okay. But yeah, you're probably lost your rookie for the season. We'll see what his off-season and surgery look like going forward. Mm-hmm. I'll give you another one here. My statement is you got to get 6. You got to get 6. Lewis Cine actually wears is number 6, isn't he? I believe he is.
I think you're right.
Yeah, but this has nothing to do with Lewis Cine.
You are correct.
Got to get 6. The Vikings red zone trips this season.
Oh, okay.
Not great. Not great. So far, in terms of red zone touchdown scoring percentage right there. Actually, let me hit you with
Football.
There you go. The Vikings are scoring touchdowns just 46% of the time when they enter the red zone. That is 26th in the NFL, behind such teams like the Bears, the Giants, the Houston Texans, the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, that's not good.
The Cleveland Browns.
Yep.
You got to be better inside the red zone there. The Vikings, when you get down there, you have to figure out ways to get 6. And Kevin O'Connell yesterday was getting frustrated, I think, with the lack of either missed throws or missed opportunities from the Vikings offense that wasn't able to cash in and get 6 points. You get 2 touchdowns instead of 2 field goals there. It's a completely different game. So I don't think you can afford as an offense to be 46% in the red zone, and good for Greg Joseph for being able to nail some kicks. Judd gave him the biggest chunk of pie chart we've ever seen on Purple Daily.
And the special teams I give a huge chunk to.
Huge amount of praise.
Pecan
Matt Daniels, maybe a future NFL coach right there. But so far, the Vikings are 46% in the red zone. Conversely, last year, they were 62%. They were actually pretty solid in the red zone last season. But right now, 46%, got to be a little bit better. You got to go get 6.
Right. And if just, as an example of 2 of them, one is, I think it was Justin Jefferson was called for the pick on what would have been a touchdown pass in the red zone to KJ, which I think ended up instead with a field goal. And then on the one play where Cousins threw short to Thielen, who got stopped, Jefferson on that play, after that came, I think, one play after Cousins threw the pass slightly behind Justin, who didn't catch it. On the next play, he throws short to Thielen. Justin Jefferson's in the back of the end zone, flailing his arms, right? And so, yeah, it's things that need to be cleaned up. The red zone is all about what? Execution. Because it's a tight spot. It gets tighter and tighter, so it's hard. It can be difficult. But I thought it was interesting, too, and I liked it, but Jefferson 1,000% showed his frustration on that one play, right, Declan?
Yeah.
Because he was open back there, and he knew it. And I think he was frustrated because, again, if I'm not mistaken, the previous play was the pass that was a little bit behind him. Probably should be caught. Not a great pass, but he can catch that.
Yeah.
So, yes, the red zone to me is all about execution and tidying things up. All right, here's my next statement.
All right, before you give that statement, when you're in the red zone, Judd, you know what you should do?
What's that, Dex?
Chill out a little bit and put on your Chill Boys.
Oh, I love it.
Whether it's your performance
Got
brand
mine on.
or your bamboo fabric.
Yep.
I think the bamboo, if you want to be a little bit more chilled, if you want to be more riskier, then you put the performance brand on. I won't divulge any more after that.
Thank you.
But chillboys.com. Use promo code SCORE15. 15% off your underwear. I love that they come, Judd, in the nice little freshly sealed Ziploc baggie.
Yep.
How much think about that. How neat is that underwear comes in a nice Ziploc baggie for you? I love that feeling.
And not just like 4 of them crammed together, but each one in its own small bag. And you know what I've got on right now, and I won't show you? My purple Chill Boys.
Oh, God. Yeah, don't show us.
Victory
yes.
Monday.
Victory
Purple.
Monday.
You want purple? You want to wear all purple? That's right, Chill Boys. Purple boxers are great. All right, here's my next statement. Give him his chance. I think we're to the point now with Dalvin banged up, and definitely not, he's not a detriment, but he definitely does not look like the old Dalvin Cook. Alexander Madison yesterday, Declan Goff, 3 carries for 3 yards, while Cook, 20 carries for 76 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not suggesting a 50-50 split yet, but I am suggesting that I think Madison, who, by the way, on the 15-yard touchdown that he caught from Kirk and then did most of the work himself, that was a really nice play. He's fresh, healthy as far as I know. Give him a chance. Give him more, or to put this probably the most accurate way I can, give him more of a chance. I'm not saying he's going to take Dalvin's place, but I don't know that with Cook playing with a bad shoulder, that the carries being that one-sided towards Cook is necessary.
Yeah, it seems like NFLs are doing much more running backs by committee. It's not a old bell cow running back who's going to touch the ball 25 for 30 times and run up the A gap, right? You have to figure out ways to get all those running backs involved. And with Wongwu and Madison, Wongwu's been pretty much non-existent in the Vikings offense. He's been very solid on kick returns and good for him. But you might want to start mixing things up a little bit. Madison's not as explosive as Dalvin Cook, so I still want Dalvin getting, 70 to 80% of the snaps if you want to divide it down that way. But clearly there's a gear missing with Dalvin Cook. We talked about that earlier, that 4.4 yards per carry. It's still solid, but he's only getting, his longest play's only been 16 yards this season. So you'd like to see him get a little bit more touches so far, or get bigger touches going forward. But yeah, Dalvin Cook missing a little bit of a gear. Get everyone else involved. Get Alexander Madison involved. There's ways to get plenty of different players involved. The Chiefs are the perfect example, right?
Yeah.
Right. They have numerous running backs, including my guy Jerick McKinnon, figuring out ways to get involved in that offense.
The original Jet, right?
The original Jet. Love Jerick McKinnon. Love that he's thriving in Kansas City.
All right. Let's transition, unless you have more Vikings.
I do not have more Vikings. But you can go to the Purple Daily YouTube channel for more Vikings takes and hottest Vikings take. Phil gave his hottest take from a car.
Yes, he did. Man, you know what?